Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at the Motley Full Epic. This is a 4-part service that includes access to Stock Advisor, the flagship stock picking newsletter from the Motley Full, as well as Rule Breakers, Hidden Gems, and Dividend Investor. This is a really great service for anyone who's looking to start a portfolio from scratch or to scale up an existing portfolio quickly, because you get access to 5 new stock picks every month. So in this review, I'll take a closer look at what those 4 services are, explain a little bit about how they differ and how they're alike, and help you decide if the Motley Full Epic is right for you. So let's dive in. I'll show you this sidebar here. You can access all of the stock picking newsletters from this My Services panel. This account actually has access to the Motley Full One, the highest tiered service from the Motley Full. So there are more than a dozen newsletters in here. I'll focus on the ones that are included in the Epic bundle. So again, Stock Advisor, Rule Breakers, Hidden Gems, and Dividend Investor. So let's dive into Stock Advisor first. So Stock Advisor is the Motley Full's flagship newsletter. I have a whole review on it that I'll link to in this description. I think it's an absolutely terrific service for the price. You get access to 2 new stock picks every month. It has a track record of beating the S&P 500 by a wide margin. So since 2002, it's delivered more than 700% compared to just over 150% for the S&P 500. It's hard to find performance like that from anywhere else, including major hedge funds. So Stock Advisor is really focused on long-term explosive growth stocks. Some of the stock picks that have helped this service deliver such impressive returns are Nvidia, Netflix, Amazon, Tesla, Booking.com, tech companies from really the early 2000s that just absolutely took off and smashed the market. So you can see that Nvidia was recommended back in 2005 originally. It's delivered a return of more than 62,000%. So one thing to note here is that Nvidia has been in the portfolio for almost 20 years, and that's going to be a theme across the Motley Full services as part of Epic. So the rule of thumb here is that you're going to hold any of the stock picks for at least 5 years, and often longer. The Motley Full really recommends reinvesting in your winners and keeping them in your portfolio, as opposed to taking profits and cutting out early. So if you're thinking about Motley Full Epic, the thing to remember is that it is really designed for long-term investors. If you're an active investor or a short-term trader, this is not going to be the right service for you. So we'll just quickly walk through some of the other services, and then I'll show you some of the extra, more in-depth features that make Motley Full Epic really stand out. So Rule Breakers, we can see, was founded in about 2004, has also beaten the S&P 500 by a wide margin, 278% to 132% in that time. It similarly to Stock Advisor recommends high growth, mostly tech stocks, not all tech stocks, but largely focused in that sector, and really just kind of prioritizing growth and companies with strong moats. Hidden Gems is a newer stock picking newsletter from Tom Gardner, one of the founders of the Motley Full. It's relatively new, so founded in 2018, and so take these performance numbers with a grain of salt. Again, all of the stock picks are meant to be held for at least 5 years, and so we're just getting to that first 5-year cycle for this newsletter, so it's slightly trailing S&P 500 at this point. This is another somewhat tech-heavy portfolio. And then the Dividend Investor newsletter is where it really gets interesting. So we take a chain, it kind of shifts from that growth-oriented mindset and looks specifically at dividend growth. So we're not looking so much at stock price performance with this newsletter. It doesn't matter because we're looking for total returns. But really the point here is to find stocks that have really strong dividends that are going to grow over time with the share price. This newsletter was started in 2020, so it hasn't even made it through a single 5-year cycle yet. And it is a dividend investment newsletter, so definitely take these returns with a grain of salt, 15% compared to 33% for the S&P 500. So it's currently trailing the market, but that should change over time as these dividends begin to grow. So I want to go back to the Rule Breakers and show you some of the features that really make the Motley Full Epic stand out. So in addition to these, for Rule Breakers, 1 new stock pick per month, you also have a couple lists. One of these is the foundational stock list. So this is 10 stocks in the Rule Breakers portfolio that the Motley Full analysts think every growth investor who follows the Rule Breakers portfolio should own. So whether you're new to Rule Breakers or have some extra money to invest, you can look at this list at any time and invest in any of these stocks, and that would be in line with the Motley Full's recommendations. These tend to outperform the market over time. They are stocks that the Motley Full has recommended over and over again across its different services typically. There's also the ranking list. And so here we can look at rankings for different stocks across the Motley Fool's different services. I'll show you Rule Breakers again. And so these are 10 stocks that they're recommending that you can double down on right now. All 10 of these stocks are already in the Rule Breakers portfolio, and this list is updated every month to reflect the strongest stocks in the market to buy right now. So these maybe are stocks that have a dip and are a great buying opportunity, or they have a ton of momentum and they're really great to buy right now and ride that momentum higher. So there's separate ranking lists for rule breakers, stock advisors, hidden gems, and dividend investors, and these are updated every month. So there's a new list of stocks to double down on. So across these 4 services, you're getting 5 new stock picks per month, and you can you can purchase all of those, you can purchase some of them, you can purchase none of them. It just depends on your preference. One thing that I really like is that every stock comes with an analyst report, so you can kind of do your own research about whether that stock is right for you. So we can look at this recommendations list here, and we can find it in Rule Breakers. And so now what we see here is this research report written by the Rule Breakers team explaining why the analysts behind this company think it is a good stock to buy now. So this really dives into what the company is all about, what its moat is relative to competitors, and why the Motley Fool team thinks this stock is set up for growth. I really like also that the Motley Fool analysts talk about risks with the stock and when they prefer to sell. That can be really helpful if you're thinking about setting stop losses on any of the recommendations or deciding between multiple stocks to add to your portfolio. So Epic also includes a few extra helpful tools. There's Full IQ Plus, which is essentially a research service built by the Motley Fool. So if you search for a stock here, you can get a full summary written by Motley Fool analysts. You can see all of the services that have recommended it, whether it's on any ranking list, and you can look at coverage. So these are articles written by Motley Fool analysts that include information about that stock. There's an income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow, as well as basic price charts. Full IQ is just a really nice service to get an overview of a stock, find out how it's being recommended across the Motley Fool universe, and then, again, help you decide if that stock is right for your portfolio. So then another tool I want to highlight here is the Motley Fool's pre-made portfolios. So you can obviously build your own portfolio using any of the 5 new stock picks per month. But if you want to build a portfolio from scratch, the Motley Fool Epic also comes with these 3 pre-made cautious, moderate, and aggressive portfolios. So I'll just show you one of these. This is a portfolio of about 20 to 25 stocks. It comes with allocations for each of those stocks. So you can just copy this portfolio in a few minutes and be ready to go. If you don't want to invest in quite that many stocks right off the bat, they offer a starter version of each of these portfolios that includes just 10 stocks. There's no allocations to worry about, just equal amounts of each of these 10 stocks. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about pricing and help you decide if Epic is right for you. So Epic costs $4.99 per year, which, considering you're getting 5 new stock picks per month, that's 60 stock picks over the year. I think that's a pretty impressive price. Not a lot of services can match the Motley Fool on pricing for either Stock Advisor or Epic. For reference, Stock Advisor costs $199 per year, and that comes with 2 stock picks. So if you're deciding whether the Motley Fool as a whole is right for you, I would definitely recommend it for long-term investors. All of the stock picks are going to be a 5-year investment horizon minimum. If you're looking to invest for shorter than that, this just isn't going to be the right service for you. If you're trying to decide between Stock Advisor and upgrading to Epic, I think it really comes down to how many stock picks you want and whether you want access to that dividend investor newsletter. There's a lot of overlap between Stock Advisor, Rule Breakers, and Hidden Gems. I think having access to all 4 stock picks from across the services can be really nice because even when they overlap, that overlap gives you information about which stocks are really highly recommended by the Motley Fool team. So for example, if you're seeing, say, Apple recommended at the same time by Stock Advisor and Rule Breakers, that's a good sign that Apple stock is a really strong buy right now. So you're getting information from that overlap that you don't get when you just use Stock Advisor. So the other thing that I think makes Epic really strong is that dividend investor newsletter subscription. That's really different from the growth stock investing that Stock Advisor, Rule Breakers, and Hidden Gem focuses on. And that fixed income style investing can be really helpful for older investors who are nearing retirement or just investors who want to diversify their portfolio a bit more, particularly outside of the tech sector. One thing to consider is that at $500 a year, the Motley Fool recommends the Epic service for investors with a portfolio of at least $50,000. I don't think that's a hard minimum. If you have $40,000, say, I think Epic is still a good value. But really looking at investors who are planning to invest around $50,000. If you're not quite at that level yet, Stock Advisor is a great option that only costs $199 per year. And for both of these services, you can usually find discount codes. I'll list the latest discount codes for each of these in the description below this video. So overall, I think Motley Fool Epic is a really strong stock picking service, especially if you want access to more stock picks each month, as well as a combination of growth and dividend investing stock picks. It's a really solid service at a great price, and for most long-term investors, I think it's a great option.